What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update as time is ticking down on the transfer window, under a week to go. So let's go and see what is going on the last 24 hours of Spurs, or 48 hours actually, seeing as we didn't do one yesterday. But we're going to start off with your daily Nusa. And Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham really want Antonio Nusa because they believe he is going to be a special player. He is a special talent in a position where Tottenham needs someone for the present and the future. So that is why they are pushing. They also know that other clubs are interested in Nusa, especially in England. So they want to be fast and close the deal as soon as possible. Tottenham are going to have new contact with Bruges in the next days again for Nusa. I think this is going to be their big focus in the next few days. And the Club Bruges manager says a sale which sees him loaned back would be a good option for him. He wants to stay another 6 months and we want him too. And David Ornstein said today that it has not developed significantly since last week's reports. So it is close, but it's not done yet. This is a top young player who many other clubs who are looking at. So Spurs won't be getting ahead of themselves. A lot of work has clearly gone into it and they'll hope to get this over the line, but it'll have to be at a price that they deem fair. The expectation is that any deal would involve Nusa spending the rest of the season back on loan at Bruges. So not really any new developments, but you know, they keep talking about Spurs want to act quickly and get the deal over the line to avoid any kind of gazumps from any other teams, but it doesn't seem like they're moving any quicker than usual, but it doesn't seem like any other teams are coming in.
I mean, we have been moving quicker than usual in general this window.
Yeah, I'm just talking about particularly with
on
Nusa.
This deal. Yeah, of course we're trying to get it over the line. Maybe Bruges are thinking, are they holding out for more money because they know that maybe down the line another team might come in and pay more money. I think Spurs have got to make sure that while negotiating with Bruges, they just get that price right and get it accepted, because this guy is exactly what we're looking for. I think it's exactly the kind of deal we should be doing. And he's one of the top talents in Europe right now. He's been so amazing for Club Bruges this season. He looks electric when he's on the pitch. He's still only 18 years of age as well, so he's only going to get better. I think it's super, super exciting. Look, all the rival people are saying there's negotiations going on. It is fairly close, but you know, it's not done, but there's still some negotiating, some bartering to be had. So this might go down to the wire, but I do think this will get done.
Yeah, I think it will get done too as well. But there's also a case, do you reckon Bruges are looking at like the gift or bad situation from last transfer window and being like, you know, they held out for so much money at a certain time and then 6 months later they go back with their tails between their legs and get half the price that they wanted originally?
Yeah, potentially. That's also, they run the risk, but then that will also be a consequence of Nusa dropping his standards. And then at the end of the day, if that happens, then that's also a bad thing for him and for the club, for anyone looking to buy him. Like,
anything can happen with a young player though, can't it?
Of course, but if like Nusa has a terrible 6 months and we don't sign him in January and he has a terrible 6 months, do we go back in for him? I don't know. We probably look elsewhere potentially. So yeah. I think Bruges are doing the right thing, trying to get a good fee for what is a very talented player.
Let's talk about Edison from Atalanta once more. Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham are one of the many clubs scouting Edison, as well as many clubs from around Europe, in Spain, in England, in Italy too, because Juventus also like the player and have been scouting Edison. He's been fantastic for Atalanta this season. I think he's going to be one of the names on the summer window because they have no intention of letting him go in January. Is this one that you think Spurs, you know, need through the door? Maybe unless Giovanni Lo Celso goes, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's more of a box-to-box kind of player. That's how I see Edison. And I think he's got a few goals this season, but I think he's definitely more of a player. That's where I see him fitting the role. So I don't see him, like, for example, for Serie C, he's still interested in like Conor Gallagher. I think he'd be in that kind of mould. I don't think he's one maybe to replace Celso. I think he's to replace Højbjerg if Højbjerg leaves. Again, any movement this January, in my opinion, in that role requires Højbjerg to leave. As long as Højbjerg's here, I don't think we're going to be making any moves, and that will be delayed till the summer. But I like the look of Edison. I think he's statistically he bowls. He looks good. Obviously playing in Serie A as well, playing at a very high level. He's starting to get goals, and I think on the ball as well. Really good ball carrier, and he does the fundamentals off the ball as well. So seems like a really good character.
Yeah, and he's kind of like having a breakout season this year at Atalanta. I've seen a couple of their games and he has stood out and impressed, to be honest. Looks really good going forward. So Yeah, it could be one that we visit in January, but I guess it depends on the outgoings that we can get out the door. But let's talk about Conor Gallagher. Fabrizio Romano says that the only way for Tottenham to sign an important player this window is for them to sell a player, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, but there is no bid for Højbjerg as of yet. Chelsea want big money for Conor Gallagher, not 30 to 40 million. David Ornstein says that Tottenham may be able to get a deal for Chelsea's midfielder Conor Gallagher sorted before the end of the transfer window. I mean, I just can't see that happening at all, especially now that they're saying, Romano's saying they want an important bid, which is more than 30, 40 million. I just can't see us pushing the boat out 50, 60, whatever they want, 65 million for someone like Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, and obviously if we do wait on this deal, we run the risk of in the next 6 months Gallagher signing a new deal with Chelsea, and that puts his price up. But if he continues to have trouble with the contract negotiations, then all of a sudden in the summer he's got a year left on his deal, and then there's even more opportunities to maybe lower that price. So I think when it comes to January, of course, 18 months left, the price is maybe a bit lower, but it's not going to be significantly lower than it is with a year left. So again, all depends on Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. If Højbjerg does leave for a decent fee, then I can see Tottenham maybe pushing that button. I don't know about 60 million, but I also don't think Chelsea will definitely demand that much. I know Romano's saying it, but I reckon between 45 and 50 might tempt them in January. But as well, if Tottenham do wait till the summer, then sell Højbjerg for a bit less, I think that price for Gallagher might drop in the summer even more. So I think it makes sense for everyone to wait till the summer on this deal.
Do you not think, like from a Chelsea perspective, like the price will be more for Spurs than it probably will be for other clubs?
Probably. I don't know if... the way they deal with things now under Bowley, like they did under Abramovich.
Abramovich would just flat out said no.
Exactly. So, you would think so, because obviously we're a direct rival. We're their biggest rival as well. So fans wouldn't be happy with Gallagher selling to Spurs, and Bowley should understand that. And if he did understand that, maybe the price is hiked a bit. But as well, we know Chelsea potentially, if they don't get in Champions League this year, which is looking very likely, they could be forced to sell, and it's about maybe who comes in with the offers. And if Spurs have the best offer, they might be forced to sell to Tottenham.
Let's talk about Giovanni Lo Celso. Nazar Kinsella saying that Tottenham midfielder Giovanni Lo Celso is targeting a return against Brentford next week. Lo Celso will miss the FA Cup Clash against Man City, but is close to a return. Miguel Delaney says that Barcelona repeatedly spoke to Tottenham about Lo Celso, but the Spurs hierarchy felt they had been making lowball offers. The terms on the loan and the arrangements on wages were all falling short of what Spurs wanted. Lo Celso is enjoying football under Ange Postecoglou, who has been very transparent with the Argentine how often he is going to play this season.
And it makes sense, because why would we let him go for cheap when we've been using him? I know he's injured at the moment, so there's always talk about, what's the point of having him around? Should we just let him go? But there's no point in loaning him out to Barcelona right now for a lowball offer. If they come in with a serious bid for something to consider, then I think we should consider it. Maybe a serious permanent transfer, or maybe even a loan bid with an option to buy for between 25 and 30 million, and you're paying all the wages. That's something to consider. But if they're coming in with lowball offers because they've got no money, they're trying to get him on the cheap because they think we're not going to use him, then you bat that away, because we are using him. He's a valuable member of the squad. When Maddison injured, he's really stepped up and played really well. I'm sure he's going to have a bit of a role to play from now to the end of the season. So if Barca are going to come in and think they can just get him cheap, then they can go do one.
You do kind of feel, though, like the Lo Celso and Tottenham story will be coming to an end by the summer, though.
In the summer, there's a conversation to be had, 100%. I think, especially with his injury record, I think he's definitely a good enough player to be part of this team. And
Agreed.
I don't think you're going to find, just purely on a quality basis, a better backup than Lo Celso, but to Maddison, I should say. But as we said, those injury problems continue to be a problem even now, and I think at this part of his career, he's getting on it. He's 28, getting to late 20s. I think it's probably time for him to find somewhere where he's going to start every week. And I think it's time for Tottenham to get someone we can rely on consistently to be available. I think that's best for all parties. But if Lo Celso was to stay in the summer, and let's say from now to the end of the season, his injury problems aren't too bad, he's available for most games, he plays a part, and he at the end of the season, he feels like he wants to stay, I'm happy to keep him around. But I think more likely than not, he'll probably be leaving.
Yeah. Tangi Ndombele. Foot Mercato says that Ndombele is considering returning to France in an attempt to rediscover his best form. Ndombele played Just 385 minutes of league football for Galatasaray this season, with reports suggesting he has struggled for fitness. I mean, you don't need reports to suggest he's struggling for fitness. You can just see it in the pictures and the videos circulating around social media in the last week, to be honest. The guy looks like he's put on about 2 or 3 stone since leaving Tottenham. It's actually mad.
You know what he looks like? He looks like Van der Vaart in that charity game where we played against Inter Milan. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, to be honest, when I saw Ndombele. It was like, oh my God. It was a bit ridiculous. But in terms of moving back to France, I mean, he tried it, didn't he? Went back to Lyon, didn't really work out for him. Although, if I remember rightly, he scored against West Ham in the Europa League. But apart from that, I mean, it's not like this magical switch to France will change it, because he's tried it already before. So
maybe he just wants to be home close to his family again.
Look, something needs to change massively, because right now his career is probably at its lowest ebb. It can't get much lower than it is right now, apart from completely being out of contract and not having a club. So Galatasaray don't want him anymore. Spurs don't want him. I don't know what the next 6 months looks like for him.
It's mad, Tangi. And, there are reports, which is no surprise, but the Galatasaray manager have completely given up on him. I know he started in the last couple of games, or one of the last games.
Got man of the match.
But that's the thing with Ndombele. He can provide that quality on a one-off basis. He can do that. But when you ask him to play consistently and do things consistently over the course of a season, you're just never going to get that off him.
No, that's the biggest disappointment. He's got all the quality, but he just doesn't have what it takes to just be a consistently top player. And when he's bad, he's not just bad, he's a complete liability. And that's the reality of him.
The guy is earning close to £200,000 a week at the moment. What a waste of money and a waste of a career. It's actually sickening. It really is. Like, not only is he earning 200 grand a week, but he can't even look after himself.
Yeah.
How can you not look after yourself as a professional earning that kind of money? It's madness.
Maybe it went to his head.
Went to his belly. That's where it went to. Let's finish off talking about Brian Hill. Corriere dello Sport saying that Brighton are negotiating a loan move for Brian Hill. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
I'm trying to imagine Brian Hill or Brighton. I could see him doing that like kind of Mitoma role, but again, is he going to be warming the bench to Mitoma kind of thing? I don't see him being on the right hand side. I think if I'm looking at how Brighton play, he got injured, and then I don't know if he's in the squad for Japan, maybe, even though he's injured. But he's been injured for a lot of the season, albeit when he has been fit, probably hasn't been as good as he has been previously. I do think they need wingers, because they got Mitoma and they got March.
March is out for the rest of the season.
He's out for a while. Adingra is on AFCON. They've been playing
got Buonanotte.
Yeah, Buonanotte is not really a winger. I think he's more of a number 10. So obviously, Enciso's still injured, but he's not really a winger either. So Brian Hill, maybe there's a young player there, and they're thinking we can do a lot for him. It'll be
Ansu Fati as well.
Ansu Fati's injured for a while, if I think. I think he sees himself more of a forward. It'd be interesting to see if Brian Hill gets a loan move, a Premier League loan move, and actually plays regularly, how he gets on, because we just haven't seen that at Tottenham, actually him get a regular one a game. So I would be intrigued in a very attacking system like Brighton as well. So he will get chances to show off his attacking ability. He'll get a lot of chances, in the final third to run at people, create chances. So I would be super excited about that move for him. Would it be a view of him coming back to Tottenham? I mean, it's more likely if he gets a Premier League loan move that would be a view of him coming back rather than a move abroad. So that does heighten the chances. But I still think his time is probably up at Tottenham. But if he does goes on loan to Brighton and kills it, then maybe there is a future.
That's what I'm saying. If you could say a loan move that would be perfect in terms of trying to salvage your Tottenham career, this is it. This is last chance saloon for him, to be honest, because if he goes back to Spain, if he goes to Italy, you're probably not going to see him ever again. But actually, if he shows what he can do at Brighton, there's a small chance there that if he does pull up some trees and play well there, I'd like to see it. I'd really like to see it. So let's see if it happens. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we've talked about today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.